Thank you, devotees. So we're reading is 21, 22, 23, I have to read 24.
योऽन्तः सुखोऽन्तरारामस्तथान्तर्ज्योतिरेव यः स योगी ब्रह्मनिर्वाणम् ब्रह्मभूतोऽधिगच्छति. One whose happiness is within and whose active and rejoices within, and whose aim is inward and is actually the perfect mystic, he is liberated in the supreme and ultimately attains the supreme. Purport: unless one is able to relish happiness from within, how can one retire from the external engagements meant for deriving superficial happiness? A liberated person enjoys happiness by factual experience. He can therefore sit silently at any place and enjoy the activities of life from within. Since a liberated person no longer desires external material happiness, this state is called Brahmabhuta, attaining which one is assured of going back to Godhead, back to home. So Krishna is saying, what is the situation of a person who can tolerate these urges of lust and anger? So what situation is he present? What state is he present in? And where does he go after leaving this body? So the situation of the person who is able to tolerate the urges of lust and anger is a person, yaha, anta sukhaha. He is happy from within. Antar aramaha. He is enjoying within. Antar jyoti evayaha. He is being illumined from within. So, very nice three things Krishna is saying. Antar sukha, antar aramaha, antar jyoti evayaha. Arama also means, you could say, another meaning is garden. Right? So, Indriyarama, Atma arama. Indriyaramas are those who are within the garden of their senses. This example is given in the Bhagavatam of how a deer ventured into a garden of nice flowers and nice honeybees singing very sweet tunes. The deer ventured into this garden. But this foolish deer did not know that there is a tiger in the front and there is a hunter from the back who is aiming it. It does not know that. Vimudha nanu pashyanti jnana chakshushaha. This foolish deer does not know this fact because it is absorbed in the activities of the senses within the garden of senses. So, because it is within this garden, it is hearing this humming thing, it is here seeing this nice flowers, it is bewildered by this nice sensations, it is not seeing. Mudha drisha. It cannot see this hunter at the back and the tiger in the front. So, hunter at the back, whom we don't see, is the, I think if I'm not mistaken, Kalam. And the tiger, which is actually in the front, is the impending death. So we don't see these two entities which are actually ready to capture us while we are going through the circumstances, while we are going through the ups and downs, while we are going through the happenings of life, the motions of life. While we are stunned, absorbed, we don't realize this. So we are all, at least talking about myself, I am Indriyarama. Indriyarama is who is absorbed in the garden of the senses. But there is another person who is Atma Arama, one who takes pleasure in Krishna. Krishna says, Aham Atma Gudakesha. So Krishna is the real Atma. Aham Atma. Krishna says, I am, hey Gudakesha, hey Arjuna, Aham Atma. I am the real super soul. Here Atma means the super soul. So the super soul can also be called Atma, and the living entity can also be called the Atma. Correct. So the Upanishads, the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, all of them use Atma interchangeably depending on the context. The same word Brahman can be used to denote to Shastra also. Right? For instance, in one place in Bhagavad Gita, I know it's a little tough question. Does anyone know where Brahma, the word Brahma is used in the context of the meaning of the Vedas? Brahma denotes Vedas. Does anyone know?
Aham Brahma Vedaisya somewhere.
There is no word of Brahman there. That denotes the Vedas. Anyone wants to try? I'll give you a clue. The clue is that it is in the 3rd chapter. So Krishna says how Yajna is actually going about in this world. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhavaha yajnat bhavati parjanyo yajna karma samudbhavaha karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. Karma brahmodbhavam. Here the word Brahma refers to the Vedas. It doesn't refer to the Supreme Brahman here. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. So Brahma Akshara Samudbhavam. Here the word Akshara means the Supreme Lord. The same word Akshara in 15th chapter means something else. Okay, Ksharasta Akshara Yevacha. Here the word Akshara means something different. Right? So it depends on the context. The Shastras can have different meanings. You see? So anyway, the word Atma here means Krishna. So Aham Atma Gudakesha. So we must try to understand Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma Nityam Yajne Pratishtitam. Sorry, that was not where I was. I was saying Atma Arama. So a devotee takes pleasure in Krishna. Atma Aramaha. Atma Arama. Prabhupada's beautiful purport. So Prabhupada is saying the first line itself is like a nuclear bomb. Unless one is able to relish happiness from within, how can one retire from external engagements meant for deriving superficial happiness? Very nice point. Right. So, what is the first step to making spiritual progress? Immediately come to a point of relishing spiritual life in some capacity. Through some spiritual activity, one must train oneself to relish spiritual happiness. Right? And if we are not training ourselves to do so, then it is very difficult to disengage from external material engagement. It is not possible. It's not possible. Or it is not possible, we don't need to disengage. That is not our process. Our process is to engage material engagements in connection with Krishna. And that also is not possible if we are not taking pleasure in connecting with Krishna from within. So somehow we must find pleasure immediately in Krishna consciousness. Somehow we must find pleasure. How do you find pleasure immediately? Very simple. We can find pleasure immediately when we serve and satisfy Krishna. When Krishna is satisfied, when we try to satisfy Krishna, then we feel blissful. Immediately we feel blissful through any activity. It could be archanam, it could be dasyam, it could be sakhyam, whatever. It could be serving devotees. It could be so many activities. But the activity that Krishna is really blissed out, that blisses out Krishna, is to tell Krishna that actually, Krishna, I was wrong all along. I am not independent. I am dependent on you. This pleases Krishna so much. This pleases Krishna so much. Convincingly tell Krishna of why what we thought as wrong is actually wrong. We must have strong rationale. If you're going to Krishna, that means whatever we are thinking right now or whatever the world is offering, for instance, I'll just give you an example. So today's world is talking about, I was reading today, of pronouns. Right? They say love is love. It doesn't matter if it's gay love, it's lesbian love, or it's whatever love. Ultimately, love is love. So this is foolish. The reason is they don't understand that we can't become a male or a female simply by dressing up as a male or a female. It's not like a Halloween dress competition or a fancy dress competition. Oh, I want to feel like a male, so I'll dress like a male. I want to feel like a female, so I'll wear some lipstick and have some nail polish and I'll feel like a female. No, there are so many layers of realities beneath the body. The mind is also a female. That is why the body is a female. It is not simply the body is a female. The mind is also a female. Whomsoever is a female in this world, their mind is also a female. Is it not? And their intelligence is also a female. In this way, there are defining characteristics. I'm just giving an example here that the modern society tries to whitewash what Krishna is offering and they want to be God. They want to take the place of God. This is very prevalent in today's world. They try to do it in different ways. So they want to, I usually say, they want to make up reality as they go. This is what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to make up reality. I'm trying to define reality. We are all trying to be definers of our own reality. And we don't want to participate in Krishna's reality as he's offering in Bhagavad Gita. It's a very deep point. Try to think about it very deeply, what I'm trying to say here. So people try to change their pronouns. People try to call themselves a different gender or sometimes worse, different species. They think that by declaring it so automatically makes it true. And you know what? The same way, this is what people do with morality as well. This is what I'm doing with morality as well. I think that I will decide that abortion isn't murder. And how do I going to how am I rationalizing it? I'm not going to call it murder. I'm going to call it choice. I'm not going to call pig's meat meat or pig's flesh. I'm going to call it bacon. I'm not going to call cow's flesh cow's meat. I'm going to dress up it as steak. But I'm not going to call chickens as chicken flesh. Now they have become very insensitive, so they are okay even calling it as chicken nuggets or so. So before it used to be something else. Or they don't want to call it hookup culture, so they will call it freedom. So all of these moves that people make, it comes from the same place, my dear devotees, the belief that we can define reality on our own terms. I define reality. What is this principle? I am God. And this comes in spiritual life also. Every guru, every Tom, Dick, and Harry guru, right? It could be anyone. They make up their own reality. They want to be God in their space. But under the umbrella of spiritual life, it could be uh, Jaggi Vasudev or Sri Ravi Shankar or Chinmayananda or Ramakrishna Paramahamsa or Vivekananda. Everyone wants to make up their own reality. And that's a problem. Right? And whoever says that Shastra is the defining reality, Shastra is the defining reality, right? Then that means we are accepting God's reality. Correct? So scientists want to do it too, right? They want to explain life as if it happened by accident, as if matter and energy can produce consciousness. Again, the same mentality trying to erase the need for Krishna. I am Krishna, I am God, I'll make up reality. So this tendency is very strong that I am God and my principles are completely fine. Whatever I have set up as reality and the decisions that are based on that reality, the thoughts based on that reality are completely fine. I just dress them differently and make it look comfortable so that I don't feel very threatened by those thoughts or beliefs or whatever. And this way I'll keep on cheating myself. I'll also feel a little spiritual here and there. You see. So this is not going to work. We have to really understand, Krishna, my reality is trash. Whatever I feel that is not in alignment with your with your thinking, with your bhav, that is ours, that is diverse from surrender to you. It is ultimately trash. Today I trash it, Krishna. From today, I understand, because of my diversing, wanting to diverse from reality, is the cause of all my trouble. Krishna, I want to make you pleased. I want to make you happy. So when we tell this to Krishna, really meaning it, and how can we mean something? We have to really identify all our realities that we are very proud of, and we must give them up. We must let ourselves find fault with that reality by reading Prabhupada's books, or hear from someone who will be kind enough to tell how faulty our reality is. And only then this mood to surrender to Krishna, accepting him as the only recourse in our life, will actually dawn. And only when that heartfelt surrender to Krishna we do, Krishna is pleased because he is happy. At last, this person is freed from his delusion. Because this is what? Right now, people are calling themselves, see, I want to identify as a dog. Now, someone will laugh at them. This is how Krishna is laughing at me. I want to identify as A, B, C, D, right? So, so Krishna is very pleased when we take the step to actually surrender to him intelligently, not as a matter of just crying or emotion. That is not surrender. Of course, that there is also feeling. I'm not saying that's not there, but that feeling includes intelligence, right? So in material life, feeling is diverse from intelligence, correct? But in Krishna consciousness, feeling includes intelligence. And at the final stage, it overpowers intelligence, but we are not there yet. But at this point, we should let our feeling be guided. We should let our intelligence be in the service to get to that ultimate feeling of love for Krishna. And this is the way Krishna is becoming very pleased. When Krishna is pleased, we will enjoy spiritual life. So we can enjoy spiritual life not again independently. Again, we can't be God in trying to enjoy spiritual life. Also, we can try to be independent, but we should not make a mistake there as well. We should think that I can be happy in spiritual life or anyway only by pleasing Krishna. Only by pleasing Krishna can I enjoy chanting, can I enjoy hearing, can I enjoy everything. Correct? So it's a dependent enjoyment. It is not an independent enjoyment. So when we do that, then what happens? Then it is very easy to disengage, retire from external engagements meant for deriving superficial happiness. And Prabhupada says we can enjoy the activities of life from within. We can sit silently in any place. We can close our eyes and our mind will be quiet like a lake because it is fixed to the lotus feet of the Lord. So I'll stop here. Any questions or comments are welcome. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. I have a question. Probably where we start in bhakti, in our bhakti process of bhakti, we start with what our parents have been told to us in terms of rituals, and then eventually we figure out our own way of our own. What I mean, it's something brings us closer to one process or the other, like you were talking about Chimayananda or Srila Prabhupada, whichever the instructions that we are appeased with makes sense to our mundane mind, we start following those instructions. And then we follow on that path for our spiritual growth. But we have to start somewhere, right? So I guess in the question, without knowing the truth of what path to follow, which instructions should we follow to really achieve the perfection in the process of bhakti, we won't know where to begin. So we all have understood in our own way.
That is our intelligence. So in order to purchase a gold, we need to know what gold is, right? We have to become intelligent to understand whom to listen from. That is our intelligence. So every person chooses whom they want to listen to based on their own intelligence, based on their adhikar. And of course, if they're sincere, they will make progress. But we can't get to the ultimate benefit by following anyone. Just like a Christian also makes progress, right, in his life, does he not? Of course he does. But he doesn't make ultimate progress because there are so many of the anarthas, there are so many misconceptions he has. Similarly, a person following Chinmayananda or Jaggi Vasudeva or whomever it is, they might be very nice people, they might be pious, but they will have misconceptions. And as long as they have misconceptions, they cannot make progress. So, bhakti is not like a magic wand. Our misconceptions must be reduced to ashes. Misconceptions about the soul, misconceptions about the Lord, misconceptions about this, our own soul, misconception about the spiritual energy, misconception about the names, forms. So, all of this is ajnana, and because of ajnana only we are suffering. So, and because of ajnana, I think I can make up my own reality, right? And we float in the sky of moral relativism, where moral relativism means every reality is as good as other realities. Correct? Everything is equally valid. People think that I can abort my babies because it's my body. Right? So this is, they think I feel like that way. But there is something called law that I cannot destroy a body. Correct? So there is sinful reactions to it. I can feel it any way I want. I can feel like driving at 110 miles per hour, but there are karmic consequences to something. Correct. So my feeling does not have any bearing on reality. I can feel anything I want, but the reality will follow its own course. Right? People don't realize this. Right? People think they can just change their life around with feeling, and the biggest problem is that the modern Hindu preaching choir tends to satisfy these people's ego by saying whatever you feel is Hinduism. And that nonsense is what Prabhupada really wanted to destroy. Because why is this nonsense? Because it is the most cruel act that you can perform to the soul. Right? Just like if I tell my child, you can do anything you want in the house, correct? Then I'm not actually educating him to actually what is true and what is not true. Right? So I'll have to guide him to healthy choices. And there are unhealthy choices, there are healthy choices. So the modern Hindu crowd is that they think dating is okay, right? They think abortion is fine, right? The modern Hindu society does not have really a strong position against abortion. It doesn't, right? He thinks abortion is okay, no problem. It doesn't have a strong, they think LGBTQ is okay, right? Of course, we accommodate LGBTQ, that's fine. If they want to practice bhakti, that's fine. We are not against anyone. But we can't condone that as dharmic. We'll have to say that is adharmic. But gradually, that person can also chant Hare Krishna mantra and come to the point of sanity. Yes. But it's not that a gay marriage is the same as a Vedic marriage. Or you can have a Vedic gay marriage. That's simply not the case. It's not possible. Right? Just to keep things clear, right? So we have to see things from the point of reality. And it could be something where we were brought up with. Like, that's fine. Right? Many people are brought up with the idea that they should eat meat. But when they read Bhagavad Gita, they will realize that actually eating meat is wrong. And that's what Krishna consciousness is about. We drop our parental affiliations or region affiliations or religious affiliations, Smartha affiliations, Sri Vaishnava affiliations or national affiliations, whatever affiliations we have, that is not helpful for getting to Krishna, we drop it. That is what is pratikulyasya varjanam. If that is helpful for progressing in Krishna consciousness, then we don't need to drop it. That's fine. But if it is not, then we don't make amends with it.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.